Two friends, same coffee shop, same Tuesday morning. Jordan just got a raise. $80,000 a year now, up from $58,000. 2 years of hard work finally paying off. Casey is still making $55,000. Same job level, same city, same rent 4 years running. If you had to guess who'll have more saved in 20 years, you'd say Jordan. Everyone would. You'd be wrong. Not by a little, by $235,000. Same starting line, same city, one raise, and somehow the person making $25,000 less ends up 2.6 times richer. This isn't about willpower. It's about something that happens in your brain the exact moment your income goes up, before you've even spent $1 of it. My name is Zaki, and I believe how you think about money matters more than how much of it you have. Let's go back to the beginning, because Jordan's story starts exactly the way you'd expect a success story to start. 2 years ago, Jordan was making $58,000 as a marketing manager, living in a modest one-bedroom, driving a car that still had payments left on it, $3,000 in savings. Nothing fancy, nothing broken either. Then the promotion happened, $80,000 a year, and almost immediately small things started to shift. A nicer apartment. Not extravagant, just nicer. 15 minutes closer to work, a real kitchen instead of a kitchenette. The car lease got upgraded too. The old one still ran fine, but it didn't feel like it matched the new title on the business card. Takeout became a Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday habit instead of a once-a-month treat. A few new pieces for the work wardrobe. Nothing wild, nothing anyone would call reckless. Here's the thing about Jordan's spending. Every single purchase, looked at alone, made complete sense. At a dinner party, when someone asked how the raise was treating them, Jordan smiled and said, "Honestly, I worked hard for this. I'm not going to feel guilty about finally living a little." And nobody at that table disagreed. Why would they? Friends described Jordan as someone who really has it together. New car, great apartment, always put together. Doing so well. By every visible measure, Jordan was winning. The raise had worked exactly the way a raise is supposed to work. It upgraded the life to match the income. What nobody could see, not even Jordan, was the math happening quietly underneath all of it. Now let's talk about Casey. Same industry, same city, same starting point 2 years ago. $3,000 in savings, a small car loan, a one-bedroom apartment. Casey is an operations coordinator, making $55,000 a year. No promotion, no raise story to tell at parties. Here's the one difference. 4 years ago, Casey set up an automatic transfer, $650 every payday, straight into an index fund before it ever touched a checking account. That's it. That's the whole strategy. Nothing complicated, nothing that would make a good story at a dinner party. The apartment is the same one bedroom from 4 years ago. The budget hasn't really changed either. But Casey isn't a robot about it. There was a moment, standing in a friend's newly renovated kitchen, admiring the countertops, when a quiet, uncomfortable thought showed up. Am I just missing out on my own life? That doubt is real. It doesn't go away completely. Some months it's louder than others. And the way people describe Casey isn't glowing. A little too careful, honestly. Doesn't really treat themselves. Nobody's throwing Casey a parade for automating $650 a month. It doesn't look impressive. It doesn't look like winning. It just quietly is. So here's what's actually happening. There's a concept psychologists call lifestyle inflation. The tendency for spending to rise automatically as income rises, often before you consciously decide anything at all. Your brain doesn't experience a raise the way your bank statement does. The moment your income jumps, your sense of normal recalibrates almost instantly. Researchers who study spending behavior have found that new income gets mentally reclassified as available almost as fast as it arrives, long before any deliberate decision about what to do with it. That's why Jordan never sat down and decided, "I will spend this raise." It got spent in 100 small decisions that each felt individually reasonable: an apartment, a car, a wardrobe, a habit of takeout, and collectively became invisible. Casey didn't out-earn lifestyle inflation. Casey outmaneuvered it by removing the decision entirely. The $650 was gone before Casey's brain ever got the chance to recalibrate around it. Now, let's apply the real numbers. Both characters investing consistently in the same S&P 500 index fund, averaging 8% annual returns. Jordan, $250 a month, 20 years, that grows to $147,300. Adjust that for inflation, because money today doesn't what money will buy in 20 years, and Jordan's real purchasing power is closer to $89,900. Casey, $650 a month, same 20 years, same 8%, $383,000. The gap? $235,700. Casey ends up with 2.6 times more, while earning $25,000 less every single year for 20 years. Here's the historical version of this same trap so it sinks in. $10,000 invested in the S&P 500 back in 1980, dividends reinvested, left completely alone, would be worth well over $1 million today. Not because anyone did anything clever, because nobody touched it. I'm not telling you this to make you feel bad about your takeout order. Nobody's twirling a mustache here. This is just how the machine is built. Your brain treats new money as spendable before it treats it as investable, unless you remove the choice. Let's watch this play out year by year. Year 1, Jordan has about $3,100 invested. Casey has about $8,100. Year 5, Jordan, $18,400. Casey, $47,800. Year 10, Jordan, $45,800. Casey, $119,000. That's the year Jordan's building announces a rent increase, and covering it means dipping into savings for the first time. Casey, in the same building down the street, doesn't feel it at all. The automatic transfer never noticed. Year 20, Jordan, $147,300. Casey, $383,000. Same starting line, 2.6 times the result. A raise doesn't make you rich. It just moves the finish line and forgets to tell you. Now, if I stopped here, I'd be doing what every finance channel does, showing you one clean side. So let me be honest about where Jordan was actually right. If some of those upgrades genuinely served the career, better clothes for client meetings, a shorter commute, buying back real time, that's not a leak, that's an investment with a different name. And pure deprivation has its own cost. Years of white-knuckling every dollar can backfire into burnout, or a breaking point where all the restraint collapses at once. Enjoying a raise isn't inherently irresponsible. Even Casey's approach has a limit. If income stays flat for years, while rent and healthcare climb, rigid frugality without ever adjusting becomes its own risk. Skipped insurance, skipped skill building, a life kept too small out of habit rather than need. The real lesson isn't never enjoy more money. It's this: spending more isn't the problem. Spending more automatically without ever deciding to is. Here's what to actually do this week. Step 1. Look at your last raise, bonus, or income increase, however small. Calculate exactly what percentage of it went into savings or investments versus everyday spending. Write down the real number, not the number you assumed. Step 2. Pick one fixed amount, even $50, and set up an automatic transfer for the day after each paycheck lands. Not when I have extra, the day after, before your brain gets a vote. Step 3. The next time your income goes up, before you change anything about your life, commit to holding your spending flat for 30 days. just 30. Let your normal catch up to reality before reality expands to meet it. None of this requires making less. It just requires deciding on purpose instead of finding out later. A raise doesn't make you rich. It just moves the finish line and forgets to tell you. If this shifted how you think about your own last raise, consider subscribing. This channel is about seeing the decisions you're already making on autopilot. Next time, the psychological reason your bank app is designed to make you feel poorer than you actually are, and why checking your balance less often might make you richer. Next time someone tells you they got a raise, ask one quiet question. Did your lifestyle catch up to your income, or did your income just catch up to a lifestyle you never chose on purpose?